Hello and good evening on this Sunday. Let's see if anyone is here who wants to join me on my panel. So, actually, what I wanted to discuss today is some stacking strategies for 2023. So, I hope that there are some people out there who want to join me on the panel. I've put the link in the chat, but I think it would be better if I post it again. Hey, Currency of Earth, how are you doing? So I said I've put the link to the panel in the chat. So all stackers out there are welcome. I put some rules in the description of this video. Yeah, thank you. Actually, these are already 2 sticker boards. So for people already here, and nobody wants to join me on my on my panel, so I hope that somebody will come up, because otherwise it will be a discussion with myself, and this doesn't make too much sense, I think. So actually what I wanted to discuss about today, I still hope that somebody wants to join me on a panel, the link is in the chat, is some stacking strategies for 2023. I will post a video very soon where I'm discussing about my thoughts on stacking strategies and how important it is to have a stacking strategy. So actually what I'm always doing is, I can show you, I mean, this is more or less my personal strategy. So I always start with analyzing my income I have, and then I always analyze the cost structure I have to end up with a budget I have, and then I'm thinking about how to allocate the budget I have. This is my personal strategy. So I think the most important thing is always to have a clear plan on how much money do you need to do you get in, and how much money do you need to pay your bills and everything. Buy some San Nicolas gold coins and crypto. Yeah. Hi. Sorry, I don't want to butcher your name, so to be honest, I don't exactly know how to pronounce it, but I agree. Yeah, the San Nicolas gold coins are awesome, but they are very expensive and really not cheap to get here. So I wish I could get them cheap. Yeah. So let's check the poll I've started. 43% ex equo still say gold and silver, and 14% already crypto. It's interesting. Kellnell, my friend, hi, how are you doing? So a lot of people already in the chat, but as said, I'm still waiting for somebody who join me here on the panel, but I would like to discuss about this stacking strategies for next year. So what are you planning to stack? How are you doing your budgeting process? Kellnell, I think I'm just looking where I have your sticker on my sticker board. I know that I have it. Here it is, of course. I've put this one on my sticker board, the Fire Brigade sticker. And here you have another friend who's already in the chat, Culture of Currency. So all of you are on my sticker board. Yeah, next to right next to the mule there, right? Hi, Silver Wolverine. So again, does anyone want to join me here on the panel? I would really like to discuss about staking strategies for the next year and how you are doing your budgeting process. So this is actually what I would like to discuss, what I would be interested in. Yeah, Culture of Currency, I know. Yeah, your collection is impressive. I already told you should open a museum. So if anyone wants to join me here on the panel, I would appreciate that, because I will upload a video soon where I'm trying to explain my personal stacking strategy for the next year, and yeah, also my budgeting process. Got 20.55 ounces sterling for $21. Wow. That's a good price. Robert Wally, was this coins or silver items like cutlery or something? $2. Wow. So did the person not know that this was silver? 3 silver bowls. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Hey, Cash and Coins. How are you doing, my friend? So, let me show you the next sticker on my sticker board. Where is Cash and Coins? So, down here. Look at that. Here is Cash and Coins. So all the good guys on my sticker board. Ken L, Culture of Currency, Cash and Coins. So I already said it 3 times. I'm still alone here discussing with myself. So here is the link. Whoever wants to join me on my panel is welcome to join me here on my panel. I would really like to discuss with you your personal staking strategies for 2023. And I thought a lot about my budget for the next year. So you're working on next video, Cash and Coins. Awesome. The hallmarks were ground off for some reason. So I took a chance. I'm gonna test it over here. Yeah, I mean, I uploaded a video recently on hallmarks and why it is so important to check or to care about hallmarks. One of the things is here in Europe, it's a legal requirement. So check out. I was just, I think, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I uploaded a video on hallmarks. So there are so many awesome people here in the chat, but still nobody wants to join me on my panel. So if nobody joins me on the panel, then I will tell you how I'm doing my budgeting and strategy finding process for 2023. Well, it would be great if someone of you would join me here on the panel for a discussion. What do you expect the ripples of what is going on around you? Ukraine and other countries trying to join NATO will do the EU make it stronger or weaker overall? I mean, I have it in as rule number 2 in my rules for live streams. No politics, but I think the European Union has to change. Yeah, we need to review our whole strategy. And yeah, actually, what's my personal opinion is that every European Union member state must leave the NATO as soon as possible or immediately. the European Union should have their own army, and we should finally start to care about our own strategy and not always follow other countries' strategies. And so I'm not a fan of the NATO, and I think we should build up a European Union army. But as I said, no politics here. Yeah, Silver Wolverine, you would, but you're unable at the current time. That isn't good. Okay. Yeah, culture of currency, as said, it's very difficult because as most of the member states of the European Union are members of NATO as well, they are not supporting the European Union; they're supporting other strategies, and this is something we should stop. Yeah, we as a European Union should define our own strategy and goals and strategic, I don't know how to call it, but yeah. So I would strongly recommend that all member states of the European Union should have to leave the NATO immediately, because the NATO is what brought us close to a nuclear conflict with Russia. And you can think about it however you like, but yeah, anyway, let's stop this. It's getting too political. So, Cash and Coins, what about you? You also don't want to join me on the panel here, right? Okay, anyway, if nobody wants to join me on my panel, then I will show you, and please let me know in the chat what you think about it. I will upload a video on the same topic soon. I'm already editing it. So actually, this is my budgeting process. For 2023. So actually, I always start with analyzing my income, and so I think what's important is that there are several sources of income. One is your job. What I always recommend is not to include bonus payments or things that are not 100% sure that they will come in your budgeting. And also inflation should be considered. So if inflation goes high and your salary doesn't change, then you should also consider this, because it has an impact on your buying power, and this should be considered. Then you should consider, do you have an income from interests? I mean, do you have shares? Do you have savings accounts? Do you have whatever you have that generates interests and a form of income? And then, do you expect income from sales? For example, are you planning to sell a piece of land? Are you planning to sell a car or whatever? Yeah. And then do not forget your taxes. And this is actually your net worth, so your net income you can budget with for the next year. I just saw that there are some new people here now in the live chat. So please, I will upload the link to my panel here. So if you want to join me on a panel, please feel free to do so. So I would really like to have a discussion on this topic. As long as I'm alone here, I will just continue talking about this topic. So actually, I consider all of the things to calculate what will be my expected net income. What you should also consider is potential negative things like losing your job or whatever. So you should also be prepared for that. So maybe it would be good not to spend all your budget already in January. So be prepared for things that could happen. Then you have to deduct all the costs you have to cover throughout the year. Actually, I have an Excel sheet for this, but I always have in the costs of living, and I always put in I always consider the inflation. So I put in a factor to consider the inflation. I mean, at the moment, we know inflation is very high. So also you should consider maintenance costs, costs for your car, I don't know, service, repairs, whatever. And one important thing I always mention is you should also consider gifts. So if there are birthdays or Christmas or whatever, consider this, because if you overspend, then you might have issues. For example, if there are any anniversaries upcoming, like myself, yeah, my wife and I will have our 20th anniversary soon. So I put also a gift for her into my personal budget. And after you have considered all of your costs, you end up with your final budget you can use. And the final budget that's left for me, I have 3 priorities. My highest priority always is paying off debts, but you need to differentiate between expensive debts and debts. For example, you have to pay off a house or something. So I always try first, if I have expensive debts like credit card debts or whatever, to pay this off, because it doesn't make any sense if you make a profit of I don't know, 8% here, but you pay 15% in credit card debts. So this doesn't make any sense at all. So the best always is pay off your debts first. Then what you should never forget is your savings account, because all of the things mentioned above here, you will need cash to pay it. So this is why you should never forget about your savings account. And the third priority, my personal third priority, is then what's left. I invest in gold, silver, a piece of land, precious metals, whatever, depending on how much is left. But this is always the highest priority for me. So I always try to get rid of expensive debts, and I think this is one of the most important things. So now let's check what is in the comments. Still nobody wants to join me on the panel, so I will again put the link into the chat, and I hope that one of you joins me here on the panel to discuss your stacking strategy. Latest silver prices are not great. Yes, I agree 100%. Wet above that, totally unacceptable, should be tax-free. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Silver should be tax-free. I uploaded a video recently on changes in the European market. So actually, there was differential tax on silver so far, and now this will change to normal standard wet 20%. I'm thinking of selling off my non-silver coin collection to buy more silver. Your non-silver coin collection, you're talking about circulation coins, or you're talking about, I guess you're not talking about gold, right? Just have been for a while to see what's going on. Hey, Santa Churchy, my friend. There are so many awesome channels. If you want to see really cool silver coins, then go to all these channels you can see here in the chat. There are a lot of awesome channels here now with a lot of awesome content. Numismatics and gold. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. Yeah, so I will continue buying some of the series I'm collecting, like the Lunar Free series or the Magic of Gold series by Austrian Mint, or Black Flag series. Yeah, Transient Stacker, I absolutely agree. Gold is my highest priority at the moment. So I just want to go gold. David Carlisle, hi, how are you doing, my friend? It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. So 16 people and still nobody wants to join me here on the panel. So at least let me know in the comments what you think about my personal budget planning for the next year. So this is actually my plan. So I mean, I cannot put numbers in at the moment because there are still negotiations going on with my company about I need to renew my contract, and there are still negotiations going on. So actually, I'm still waiting for the outcome of these negotiations, and then I can finalize my budgeting process. But what do you think about it? Please let me know next time in advance, and I would have no problem joining in. Yeah, cash and coins. I was not supposed to be home today, so actually this was I just stopped at home today. I was supposed to travel from one country to another without any stopover, but yeah, as I've been able to finish earlier, so I decided to stay one more day at home and then leave again tomorrow for the next business trip. So I wasn't supposed to be at home today, so I couldn't plan this earlier. But if I have the chance to plan this earlier, yeah, for sure I would tell you. You're more organized than me. I never make a budget. Okay. Transient stacker. This the reason why I always make a budget is my cost structure is a bit complicated, and to keep the overview, I always need to make a budget. Actually, wow, there is somebody joining me here on the panel, Robert Wally.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Robert. Thanks for joining me on the panel. Great. I thought I have to talk to myself the whole evening now.
Yeah, that can get annoying. I understand.
No, actually, I wasn't supposed to be at home today, but I managed to stop at home before the next business trip starts. So I thought, let's make a live stream, and now nobody wants to join on the panel. So I'm really happy that you do. So
yeah, sometimes it can be hard to keep everything going if you're just by yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So actually, I just wanted to discuss about, but I see most of the people just say they don't have a budget and they don't budget. So.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm the same way. I really never created a budget. I probably should. But like I said, I really love my silver dimes here in America.
So you're from the US. Okay, good. Yeah, it's. I mean, it's all this 90% silver and so on in the US. This is really cool. This is a bit completely different here in Europe, because actually the what you call constitutional silver is rather cheap here, and it's not really very good for stacking. Yeah, because there is a lot around, and everybody has tons of what you call constitutional silver from their grandparents, and so actually a lot of times it's even sold very, very close to spot, if not spot. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Hey, maybe I'll have to get you to buy me some at spot.
Yeah.
I don't mind, as long as it's silver. I don't care what country it comes from.
Yeah, sure. I always follow the videos on all the US stacker channels, and when they always show their constitutional silver and so on, I wish it would be the same situation here. In the past it was better, but the last 2 years the prices went down dramatically. Yeah, so I don't know why, but it seems like a lot of people put their constitutional silver on the market. And for example, if you went to a coin shop in the past and you wanted to buy, I don't know, this 50 shilling coins or 100 shilling silver coins, you really had to pay high prices, and if you sold them, you also got good money for it. But now it's really just they don't even check what kind of coins it is. They just weigh it and you get spot for it.
Wow.
Completely changed here. Yeah?
I'd love to. Anytime I can get silver at spot, I'm interested.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Or like I said, with these silver bowls, yard sales are a great place to get silver and gold. Because a lot of times people either they don't know what it is or they don't know what it's actually worth.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. I saw this several times. I also found some really cheap coins. For example, one time, an old lady sold Maria Theresa thalers at a yard sale, and it was far too cheap. And I mean, I didn't want to rip her off, so I told her that what's the actual value of this, and I mean, it was actually two times of what she wanted to have for it.
No,
And then
exactly. And
we agreed. Yeah, I told her, and we agreed on 70% spot. And she said, "Look, I mean, you could have ripped me off, and so it's fine with me." And then, I mean, I got it. For me, it was still cheap, and she was happy to get some more money. And
yeah, and that's always, and most stackers that I know will do that. You know,
yeah,
if they're
exactly.
going and
Yeah,
finding something at a yard sale and somebody's got something just outrageously underpriced, they're like, "Hey, look, you know, this is worth a lot more. I'll give you this much. I'm going to get a deal, and you're going to make more money."
yeah.
Yeah, and those Thalers are cool. I've only got one of them though.
Yeah, I think in general, our community is really a great community. So I never heard of anyone here in our community who tried to rip off old people selling their silver. So I really appreciate it that we have a lot of
Well,
good people in the community.
I know a few in the community that are like that, but for the most part, the vast majority, yeah, they're all good people.
Yeah, I think so. No, it was also when I bought something from a community member, it was always really, the prices were always fair, and they even sent me links where they said, "Look, um, this is how people are selling it on eBay, or this is how this is the price online dealers want to have for it," and so it was always really fair and transparent, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, sometimes eBay you can get lucky. Most of the time, it seems like there's just so many bidders out there, it winds up being overpriced, you know.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can get good deals on sterling on there, but it's usually still right around spot.
Oh, look, there is a question here. Hello, Goldani. What do you think about 10 euro silver coins? Do you mean 10 shilling or 10 euro silver coins? What kind of 10 euro silver coins are you talking about? Are you talking about the coins by Austrian Mint, or? You know, actually, I do not buy too much 10 euro silver coins. What I really like is actually copper coins. I don't know. Do you also buy copper coins, Robert?
I usually don't buy them. I've got some copper rounds. The main thing I go after if I'm going after pennies, there's just our copper pennies, the pre-1981s that are solid copper.
Ah, okay. Oh, well, what I like is all of this commemorative copper coins. I like them very much. For example, this one is this is a very special one. This is a 5 euro coin, and it was also sold for 5 euros. So you can use it in every shop, so you don't lose money. But this one is very special and was sold out immediately because this coin is made from the copper of the old roof of our parliament.
Oh, cool.
So there were just 200,000 pieces minted, and I managed to get 50 of them.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, they were sold out immediately. So, but I'm not so much into 10 euro silver coins, Levente. I like more. Yeah, to be honest, I like bullion. So the 1 ounce silver coins. Cash and Coins has to leave. Cash and Coins, my friend, thanks you so much for stopping by.
Yeah, I do like the 1 ounce bullions, but you know, they carry such a high premium. Most of the time it's like not even worth getting them.
Yeah, I mean, you have a big advantage in the US. You have this silver rounds. We don't have them here in Europe because they would need to hallmark the silver rounds, and this is why we just have coins. Yeah, we don't have this silver rounds.
Oh, like the poured silver, the hand poured stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is the problem we have with silver. So either it has a face value and is issued by a statement, or yeah, you actually would need to be hallmarked. And this is why we have almost no silver rounds here in Europe. So I love the silver rounds in the US, but it's very hard to get silver rounds here in Europe.
Huh. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. I guess that they could always hallmark them on the edges, though.
Sorry, I didn't understand it.
I said they could always hallmark on the edge of the coin.
Yeah, but it's not cheap to hallmark them, and this is why usually the premium on silver rounds is much lower than on bullion, and I think this might be the reason why, because they have to pay for hallmarking, and I think this might be the reason why.
Oh,
I mean,
really?
I don't know a lot of silver rounds.
So let's say if I was there and I was pouring my own silver, I couldn't hallmark it myself. I would have to take it somewhere and pay them to hallmark it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yep. For example, in the UK, I made a video on this, I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. In the UK, for example, they have offices. They have in Birmingham and Edinburgh, and here in Austria we have one in Vienna and one in Tyrol, where you need to send your silver stuff, and they hallmark it, and then they send it back with a certificate.
Huh. How much does that cost?
I don't know, to be honest, because I never poured silver. So I don't know, but
well, and see, that's one thing that you might look at, because like if you get sterling silver, let's say you get flatware, right?
Yeah.
It's worth more as a piece of art than it is as a fork or a spoon.
Mm-hmm.
So you melt it down and you pour it in a mold or something and create a piece of art with it, and then you can resell it for a lot more. So I was just curious as to how much the hallmarking would be on something like that. And Kellen L's got a good question. What kind of penalties are there if you're selling silver that's not hallmarked?
I need to check, but actually it's you commit a crime if you do so, because it's defined in the. I mean, it's different from country to country, but in the UK and Austria, I've checked just the legal situation. UK and Austria, we have a so-called hallmarking law, and it defines exactly what kind of silver needs to be hallmarked and what doesn't need to be hallmarked. And to be honest, I never checked how high the penalties are, but it's actually a crime, if you sell precious metal items that are not hallmarked. There are just a few exemptions, yeah.
So some precious metals don't have to be hallmarked. Like what?
If the weight is very low, for example, or if it's too small so that you cannot put, for example, gold items, if it's so small that you cannot put a hallmark on it. I think with gold it's less than 1 gram, and for silver I think it's let me check. So here are the exemptions. So silver items of a weight less than 30 grams do not need to be hallmarked.
Oh, so that's almost an ounce then.
Yeah.
So you could pour rounds that are just under an ounce and be able to sell them without hallmarking
them. The problem is you actually don't need a hallmark, but you need the how is it called? I need to check how it is called in English. There are 2 different stamps actually you need. You need a finesse mark. So you don't need an NSA office mark, and you don't need the sponsor's mark, but you need a finance mark. So you need somebody who confirms the purity of the silver.
Oh, so you'd still have to have it sent in and have it stamped, at least with like 925 or 3 nines fine or whatnot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this is one of the reasons why silver is so expensive here. Yeah, because of this process, and this is why actually the state mints they have a huge advantage. They have more or less a monopoly. Yeah, because of exactly all these regulations related to precious metals, and this is why, for example, private mints from other countries, why they're usually working together with some Caribbean islands or something to put their face value and their currency on the coins, because as long as there is a face value on it and it's backed by a government, you don't need to hallmark it. So this is why, for example, mints from I don't know, from Slovakia, Pressburg mint, for example, why they usually have, I don't know what, but they also have usually some Caribbean islands.
Huh. That's got some really weird regulations.
Yeah, but it's like that. It's like that for hundreds of years. Yeah, it's precious metals have always been regulated in Europe, especially Austria, Germany, Switzerland, England.
But your guys' constitutional is really cheap. It's just you can't get bullion at a good price, right?
Constitutional is rather cheap, yeah. But as said, yeah, I mean you can buy it cheap, but you also don't get a lot of money if you sell it, yeah. Because the problem is, as said, yeah, especially nowadays, a lot of young people they don't stack any. I mean, what we call stacking, yeah, the old people didn't call it stacking. But for example, my grandmother had a huge collection of silver coins because she trusted silver. I mean, she survived 2 world wars, and this is why actually she trusted precious metals much more than any currency, because she saw free currencies dying.
Yeah,
during
she's
her
a smart
lifetime.
woman.
And that's why she collected. I mean, she kept all the silver coins she ever got, and she had a massive silver coin collection when she passed away. And what I mean, we kept it, yeah. So we did not sell it; we kept it in our family. But
Good.
most of the young people now they just go to the next coin shop and sell it for almost nothing, yeah. And then usually they're selling a massive amount of coins, and I think a lot of people did this recently, and this is why the markets are flooded with silver coins. Yeah, you can get so many cheap old shilling coins and even crowns from the time of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire, and you get them so cheap. Yeah, it's a coins like 200 years old, and you pay spot plus, I don't know, 2% or something. It's so cheap to get.
Well, maybe I'll have to send you some money, and you can send me a package, or I'll figure out some gold bullion coins to send to you.
The problem with this is, I mean, in the past I did this very often. I made a lot of trades with people with stackers from the US, but the problem now is, since Trump started this trade war with Europe, we actually have an import tax on, and it's the same with the US. You also have an import tax on European products. So the last time when I sent something to a friend to the US, he had to pay a hell of money for importing this for import taxes.
Oh, really?
So this is also I did some coin trades where I simply did not. I mean, I should not say this, where we say the value is below the $100 threshold, and so we didn't fill out the declaration forms, and yeah, they just opened it, and then they estimated a value, and we had to pay like, I don't know, $50-$60 import tax.
Wow. But so if it's under $100, you don't have to.
I think it's still like that. In the past, it was $100. Yeah.
Well, so you just send multiple small packages.
Yeah, this would work. Yeah, but then you have to pay, I don't know, several times for shipping.
Well, see, like I can get an international stamp.
Yeah.
And it's like $1.70 or something like that, or $1.20 for that international stamp, and it covers up to an ounce.
But is it insured then?
No.
Okay, because I usually when I send something to the US, I always send it tracked and insured, and I mean, if I do trades and somebody tells me no, I will take the risk. Yeah. So I never take the risk. Yeah. So if somebody's telling me no, I take the risk, and it's okay if you send it uninsured and untracked, fine with me. Yeah. But I don't want to take the risk, because a lot of things we sent around. Yeah. Like usually when I do sticker trades, we always trade one single coin. Yeah. Like, I don't know, $0.50 and a Maria Theresa Thaler or whatever, or an old shilling coin, and a lot of them really got the stickers arrived, but the coin was gone.
Somebody's stealing them, huh?
Yeah, exactly. And this is why I always say, so if somebody wants to send me something uninsured, then without insurance, then yeah, fine with me. But I don't want to take the risk, because so many things got stolen. I've sent to the US.
Yeah, that's a shame. We'll have to figure out something.
Yeah, let me know. I mean, US constitutional silver is really hard to get here. So I'm always happy to trade one or two coins.
Yeah, I don't like getting rid of my constitutional, but $half and piece dollars and stuff like that, I can get rid of. I
Cool.
prefer my smaller stuff, the quarters and the dimes, because honestly,
quarters are cool.
Most of my stacking is to the extent at looking at, when stuff collapses. If it collapses in my lifetime, then I've got stuff to trade with. And you don't want a 1 ounce gold coin if you're just trying to go buy a loaf of bread and a dozen eggs. You're gonna have to sit there and be trying to shave pieces off that coin. Whereas if you've got constitutional like dimes that everybody recognizes and knows silver, then it's a lot easier to trade dimes for that, dozen eggs and a loaf of bread than it is shaving off part of a gold coin. Because that's, trying to weigh out the right amount of gold or something for such a small purchase is, kind of, it's not really feasible to do that. But if you've got the smaller silver coins, it's a lot easier to trade for goods because you don't have to make a large purchase to justify it.
Yeah, exactly. This is why I always say this in my videos when people are asking me about why I stack gold and silver. I always say I stack gold and silver for two completely different reasons. I stack silver because I believe that silver is the best crisis currency that's available. You can stack. I mean, have a look at Venezuela and all these countries. The people with silver coins, they survive, because as you said, you can trade with it. But gold, I'm mainly stacking because I want to freeze my buying power. And I think for me these are two different things. So I stack silver because I believe in silver as crisis currency, and I stack gold because I want to freeze my buying power for the time when I'm retired.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. I really have never been able to afford to do that yet.
Yeah, I could just start recently. So for a long time I haven't been able to stack any gold. It's just that the last couple of years after I've been able to pay off my major debts, and just the last couple of years I've been able to stack some gold. But I think gold is. I made a video on this. I think it was last year, where I did a lot of research and I tried to find out what was the equivalent of. For example, I took a bread as an example because this is what was known throughout history and where you have good documentation. And I always checked what was the value of one bread. And usually it was 0.1 grams of gold. So it was always for one bread, you always paid. Today the equivalent would be like €5, something like that. So I checked what's the value of 0.1. What's the value from bread? And it was throughout history. It was always around 0.1 grams of gold. And this was very interesting to see, going back to the old Egyptians and Romans and then to the medieval ages and so on. It was always very similar. It was always very close to plus minus 0.1 gram of gold. And so I really believe that gold is the best thing to freeze your buying power.
Yeah. Well, see, that's one of the reasons why I like the silver as an investment, is because historically, silver to gold ratio was like 10 ounces of silver to 1 ounce of gold.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And now it's at 100 to 1, basically, which is way out of line. So silver should at some point snap back to that 10 to 1 ratio, especially because they're pushing all this electric vehicle and everything that they're pushing. Those require so much silver. In all modern electronics, everything would not survive without silver. It can survive without gold, but it can't survive without silver.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I also think that the silver spot price is not where it should be. And I think what I really like to hear is that they want to separate the paper market from the physical market. But I'm not sure if they are able to do that, because they're talking about the same thing for oil for, I don't know, I think 20 years now. and they still have not been able to stop all these speculations and so on, destroying the market or influencing the market. Yeah, in this is I mean, this is so far away from reality. Yeah, this is just people trading papers somewhere, and this has such a massive impact on the price, on the spot prices. So
Yeah.
I don't know how to solve this issue, but as soon as they have been able to solve this issue, and I think they're really working on that, I think silver there should be a correction.
Well, see, that's one thing I wonder if we can. Well, one thing I was thinking about just now about your import laws. Yeah. I wonder if I could pour silver here and ship it to you as metal art, and therefore avoid import taxes on precious metals.
I need to check, but there is also defined that at the first point where it's entering the European Union, actually it needs to be checked and hallmarked. So I mean, I'm pretty sure it would work. I mean, I got, for example, some people sent me their they poured channel rounds, so they made hand poured channel rounds, and they sent it to me as a gift. And but these were always low weights. Yeah, so it was never. I mean, one was actually about two ounces, but usually if they control the package, yeah, then it's like an illegal import, yeah, if you don't declare it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't like this. I mean, on the one side, yeah, it's really protecting the people from fake stuff, but on the other side, this is one of the reasons why silver is so expensive here. And this is also why most of the people here, especially in Austria, most of the people, they buy gold. They don't buy silver. They buy. This is why fractional gold is very popular here, because a lot of people cannot afford to buy big gold coins or heavy gold coins like 1 ounces or half ounces or something. So we have a lot of these ducats and 1/10 of an ounce coins. We even have 1/25 of an ounce gold coins.
Oh wow!
So it's very popular. Fractional gold is very popular here. So a lot of people just buy gold, and a lot of people don't like silver because of all the taxes and yeah, silver is really expensive here.
Well, now here's another thing though. What if somebody brought silver in like on a flight?
Yeah, this is something the European Union tries to fix now, because in my previous company I had to travel to the US frequently, And what I always did is I always bought tubes of American Silver Eagles. And one time, customs found 2 tubes in my package, and they wanted to apply the silver import tax. And I told them, no, these are coins. Yeah, have a look at it. It's $1. Yeah, so this is a coin. This is not considered silver. This is
currency.
This currency. Yeah, this is a face value of $1. So you can count this every single coin as $1. Yeah. And they were so confused that they said, okay, we didn't know. And really, I was lucky, yeah.
So, okay, well, that makes sense. You just bring like American constitutional stuff that's currency, that's got an actual dollar price on it.
Yeah, I think I think this is this. I read some articles, so I think that the European Union will define how to deal with this. Because also if we import, for example, now it's like that. If we import silver from UK, it's also not European Union anymore, so we also have to pay import tax. So I think they will do a similar thing now for international silver coins, so that they. I know that the European Parliament is working on this, so let's see what they come up with. But I'm pretty sure they will close this gap.
That's a bummer, because like right now, I was just looking online. Right now, I could get a round trip plane ticket from Denver to Vienna for $573.
Wow, that's cool. That's not too expensive.
No, I mean that would actually make it feasible, in a way, to if somebody wanted to, get a lot of silver to get a ticket like that.
Yeah, no, I need to check. Yeah, so I never took more than two tubes of American Silver Eagles with me. And as said, yeah, one time they caught me, and in the end they accepted my my story about the face value.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure if this was really okay.
Well, hey, I mean, the laws are the laws. If you can find the loophole, work it.
Yeah. Kel just asked, what is the average price of a 1 ounce Philharmonic silver in Austria? I just checked Austria Mint's homepage. It's 28 euros and 3 cents today, including 20% tax.
Oh, wow. We could probably get them cheaper here.
Yeah, this is always, I saw when I've been to a coin shop in Houston once, I saw Philharmonics were much cheaper than what we have to pay here in Austria because of this stupid 20% tax we have.
Yeah, I think we can get them cheaper than that.
They're usually also cheaper in some other countries outside the European Union.
The euro is right at the same price as $1 now, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. 1 euro in USD. It's exactly 1. It's 1 euro. It's today 1.00 United States dollar.
So it's exactly 1-to-1 ratio right now.
Huh? Yeah, today is exactly 1-1. Crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about, because it used to be what, almost 1 1.25, or
120 or 122 or something. Yeah. Yeah, this is crazy.
Well, that'll make it easier when I bid on stuff on eBay.
Yeah. Philharmonics seem to usually be cheaper than most government silver. Yeah, but as said, this is just the case outside the European Union. Within the European Union, we have 20% tax on Philharmonics. This is why they're always expensive here. And this is why in the past I always ordered my silver from from Estonia, because Estonia is member of the European Union, but they didn't have a tax on silver. So this is why I always ordered it from Estonia, and I imported it from Estonia because I didn't have to pay import tax, nothing, because it was European Union. but I got it 20% cheaper because they didn't have tax on it. And then considering the insured shipping and so on, it was usually still like, I don't know, 10-12% cheaper than here in Austria. So I usually if I bought Philharmonics, I bought 1 or 2 tubes from Estonia and imported it to Austria, and it was cheaper than buying it here in even if I was living just 20 minutes away from Austrian Mint, it was cheaper to get Austrian Mint coins in Estonia. But unfortunately, also Estonia, they were forced to put 20% tax on silver, so now it's not cheaper there anymore.
Yeah, because that was one thing I was just getting ready to ask was, well, what if you bought Philharmonics here and sent, and took them in? Would that avoid the import tax since it was actually Austrian silver?
Yeah, I mean, once you have it here, I mean, it's yeah, you made a profit, but the thing is, you need to get it to Austria somehow. And in the meanwhile, at the airports, they're really checking, especially from international flights, they are checking if you import gold or silver. A lot of people did this in the past when they went on vacation to Turkey. They bought bracelets and whatever there, and or rings, gold rings, and they just put it on their hands and fingers, and they tried to import it without import tax. And then it took you like 3 hours if you returned from Turkey, and to the end, it took you like 3 hours to get through the custom checks, because they literally checked everyone, because they knew that a lot of people bought cheap gold in Turkey and imported it. And yeah, it's not fun anymore.
That sucks.
Yeah, and you also have to take care. I mean, we in most of the member states of the European Union, there is it's called the Schengen Agreement. So if you are within the Schengen area, it means you don't have borders and custom controls. If you go if you travel from one country to another country, for example, if I travel from Austria to Germany or from Austria to Italy, there are no border controls anymore, but custom does spot checks. And if they find you smuggling something, then you have to pay 2 times you have to pay the tax, and then additionally 2 times the tax, the same amount, or 2 times the amount you pay taxes as a penalty. So it's really, if they catch you, you have to pay a hell of money. Yeah, so they really force you to buy it and pay your taxes. But how is it in the US? Because in the US you also have states where you have tax on silver, and you have states where you don't have tax on silver, right?
Not that I know of.
I know. Okay, I thought you have states where you have tax on silver. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'll have to let me Google it real quick and see. Yeah, I think the only thing would just be local sales taxes. Some of them might have a sales tax on silver, and some of them might not.
Okay.
But it's not like an import type tax.
Okay, so if you buy it in a state without sales tax, and you bring it, for example, you live in a state where you have sales tax on silver, you wouldn't have to pay any taxes for.
Correct, because you bought it, because where you bought it didn't have that sales tax. That would only apply if you bought it in the state with the sales tax. If you lived in a state with a silver sales tax, and you went to the next state over that didn't have a silver sales tax, and you bought your silver there, it's perfectly legal.
Oh, okay, good. That's good. Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, I don't understand why there is no tax on gold here in Europe, but there is a tax on silver. I don't get it.
Really?
Yeah, we don't. We have 0 tax on gold. Yeah, and if you keep the gold for more than 1 year, you can also sell it without any taxes. You just need to keep it for more than 12 months, and then you can sell it tax-free as well. So even if you make, I don't know, 100% profit, you don't need to pay any taxes if you sell it. But I mean,
how do they know how long you've had it?
Yeah, I mean, it will be hard for them to prove that you had it shorter than 1 year. But I mean, my personal theory is that they want to keep, let's say, the normal people away from precious metals. I think this is the reason why they tax silver, but not gold.
That's actually a good theory.
Yeah, I discussed it with a lot of people here, and nobody could tell me, I don't know, a reasonable story. It doesn't make any sense at all. Yeah, you have no tax on gold, but tax on silver. So
yeah, because it takes a lot more money to be able to trade in gold than it does in silver.
Yeah, exactly.
So just to keep the status quo. Keep the poor poor and the rich rich.
Yeah, I really don't know what's behind. I mean, it's actually it's for a long time. It's already like that. That silver, there was always a tax on silver here. So I really don't understand the reason. Yeah, but so what does Transient Stacker say? That's a nice thing about driving across the country. I can buy in states with no taxes. Yeah, this is cool, Transient Stacker. I just didn't know that you also don't have to pay like we if you. But actually, I mean, it's one country. Yeah, here it's the European Union consists of different countries. But here we have to pay tax if we bring it from one country to another. If there is difference, but just within the trade-free zone at the European Union, it's okay. New York State's tax is up to $1,500 in bullion. Above the amount, it's tax-free.
So he's saying that.
Okay.
If you're buying less than $1,500 worth of silver, it has a tax on it. But if you're spending more than $1,500 at a time, they don't tax it.
Yeah, this is what you just said. Keep the rich rich. Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
But this is also crazy. I mean,
hey, Hoosier Stacker just showed up, and so did McDonald Bullion.
Hey, McDonald Bullion. Wow. It's been a long time. I hope you're doing well. Thank you very much for asking. Hello, Arnie and chat, lurking and smashing the thumb, brother. Yeah, thank you very much for smashing the thumbs up. So let's beat the algorithm. I had a lot of issues with YouTube recently because always at a certain number of views, the count stops. So. And it's always a round number. It's like 1,500 views, and suddenly it doesn't count anymore. Yeah, so it stays there. I had this with several videos. Yeah, in one case, I had 3,500 views within the first 2 hours, and suddenly it stopped at exactly 3,500.
Really?
It's absolutely crazy. Yeah, I hate YouTube so much.
Yeah, I need to start doing more streams on my channels, but get my subscribers up there to where I can have a bunch of people in chat.
Yeah, it took me a long time to get where I'm now. How many subscribers do I have? I think I have
2.14.
2.14, yeah. So it took me like 3 years to get 2,000, yeah, and a lot of support from really big channels. Otherwise, I think I would still have 500. So it's really difficult, especially as a European channel. To be honest, it's because the things people really love is this kind of coin hunts and coin roll hunting and all of these things, and I cannot do that because we have euro coins, so I cannot hunt anything. I will never find a silver coin in a roll of euro coins. So.
Well, can't you get, yeah, because they keep changing the shapes and sizes, don't they?
No, not really. But the problem is the euro was invented in the 2000s, and actually until 1999 we had the shilling, the Austrian shilling, and yeah, after that, there was zero chance to find silver coins anymore because there is no single euro coin with silver content.
Well, don't you have, you've got other like 5 and 10, like dimes and nickels and quarters and shit like that, don't you?
Yeah, but these are copper coins actually.
Oh, really? So, well, how long ago was it that they were silver? Because I know there's smaller European coins that are silver.
Yeah, but this was not euro. This was not euro. This was the local currencies. Now we all have one currency. We have the most of the European Union member states have the euro now as a currency, and the euro has never had silver coins. The euro was always
yeah.
And in Austria, for example, they stopped. I think 1974. I think was the last year when we had silver coins. We had 5 and 10 shilling coins. I can show you if you give me a second.
And what was the percentage on that silver in 74?
I think it was, the last ones were, I think, 70%. So this should be shilling coins, if I'm correct.
Yeah, because I wish I could figure out a way of getting a bunch of your constitutional silver at spot.
So this actually were. So this is how our 10 shilling silver coins look like, for example.
Okay, so that's about the size of a quarter, isn't it? Or a little bit bigger? Is that about
it's a bit bigger. It's a bit bigger, yeah.
Kind of in between a quarter and a $50.
Yeah, somewhere in between, yeah.
So maybe about the size of a Susan B. Anthony.
I don't know what a Susan B. Anthony is, but
that was one of America's dollar coins that was not silver.
So that was our 10 shilling coin. That was our 5 shilling coin.
Those are nice looking, and you say they're 70%?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. Oh dang! Maybe I'll have to take a flight out there. If I could save up enough money to make it worthwhile. Well, if you look at it, less than $600 for a round trip flight. For me, I've got an advantage because there's not going to be that much customs or whatnot to go on there. Like you said, with currency, I could fly over there, buy up a whole bunch of silver coins, and take them back with me. I'm not sure. I'll have to figure out the customs laws on doing that here.
So this is actually a full set. This is how our coins look like. You have here from 5 groschen, which was 2 and 5 groschen, which was the smallest coin, but they we didn't have them for a long time. Yeah, but the smallest one actually was the 10 groschen, and you have 50 groschen, and you had 1 shilling, 5 shilling, 10 shilling, and 20 shilling.
Nice. That's a nice looking set.
Yeah, it's from 1981. It's from the year where I was born. So I got it as a present for my birthday.
Well, hey, we're really close. I was born in 82.
Oh, really? Okay. That's
yeah,
cool.
I'll turn 40 in less than 2 weeks.
Ah, congratulations.
Thank you. But yeah, that's funny. That's what I was thinking. Man, if it was just 1 year newer.
And this was our commemorative coins. They were issued like every 2 years, I think, or sometimes every year. So there was always all our commemorative coins had a face value of 25 shillings or 50 shillings or 100 shillings.
Oh, nice. Most of our commemorative coins are only $50. as far as I've seen, I don't think I've seen any other American coins that were commemorative coins that weren't half dollars, other than, in
Okay.
1976 when you had the bicentennial quarters and such like that.
So this also 25. These are my favorite shilling coins, the 25 shilling coins, because you can see all the coat of arms of all nine of the Austrian states on the back.
Oh, cool. I didn't know Austria was divided into states.
Yeah, Austria has 9 what we call federal states, but a federal state has about, like, I don't know, 1 million inhabitants. So it's not what you consider as a state in the United States. It's so Austria in total has 8 point something million people. So a state is something you would, I don't know if it would even be a county or something.
Right, like a county, yeah.
Maybe a small county.
Right, Austria is kind of like the state, and then your states are kind of like what we would consider counties.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Austria is a very small country, so. But this is the funny thing here in Europe. It's everything is much smaller than. Yeah, one time I had a guest from the US, and before he came to Vienna, I'm living close to Vienna, and before he came to Vienna, he said that he visited a city close to Vienna, and I mentioned all the major cities around Vienna. I said, no, it's not that, it's not that. And then he mentioned a city that's actually at the other end of our country. Yeah? But for him, coming from the US, it was close to Vienna. Yeah? For us, it's...
Like he was talking about something like Innsbruck or something?
Yeah, no, actually, he was talking about Bregenz, which is actually really close to Switzerland. It's like a 6 hours drive here. For us, 6 hours driving is like driving one time around the world or something.
Yeah, hell, it takes me 3 hours to get to the nearest decent airport.
Wow.
No,
okay.
3.5 hours.
Yeah, oh, hanging with the chef is here in the chat. Whoa, hello. Thank you for joining us here, my friend.
Yeah, like, I've always found that funny. People in Europe talking about having to drive to like the opposite side of their country, and it's like this 2-hour drive, and it's like, really?
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, Germany is much bigger than Austria. They have 10 times more people than we have, but there are a lot of these small countries, yeah, like Hungary, Czech Republic, yeah. So,
well, see, that's like just the state of Colorado alone takes, I think it's like 6 hours to drive from one side to the other.
Yeah. I drive about 700 miles a day. Yeah, Trends and Stacker, if you would do this in Europe, you would have crossed at least 3 countries. No, this is really crazy. So being a truck driver is not easy here in Europe, I guess, because if you're just traveling within the European Union, you have to stop at the borders and you need to declare what you're going to transport from one country to another country, and so it takes at least 1-2 hours at every border. So even if the cars just go through, the trucks have to stop, and so I think must be very annoying for truck drivers here because they have to stop all the time.
Oh, that would suck. Yeah, that's the nice thing about the States is there's nothing like that on any border of any state.
Yeah, I once made a trip together with my wife from New York to San Francisco. So we really crossed the whole country because we wanted.
Oh, nice.
We wanted to travel through the whole United States once. So we saved, I think, for 2 or 3 years, we saved our money to be able to do this trip. And this was something we realized. We never had to stop anywhere. The only time when we had to show our passport was when we crossed the Rainbow Bridge to Canada, when we went to see the Niagara Falls.
Yeah. Yeah.
This was the only time when we had to show our passport.
Yeah. Other than that, once you're here, you're here.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can go anywhere and, visit everything with no questions.
No, what I like in the US is, every state is so different, because the country is so big. So you have the Yellowstone National Park, you have beautiful mountains, you have these huge, big mega cities. It's very interesting to travel through the US.
Oh yeah, because there's literally you can see everything from like stark deserts to, like you said, cities with more people in it than 3 times your country's population in one city.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, even more.
Yeah, and then you can go somewhere where there's, basically villages. They're still considered towns or whatnot, but some of them aren't towns because they don't have a post office. So they're literally like little villages or just communities.
Yeah, but it's again, what we call a village is maybe, I don't know, 200, 300 people. Your village is...
There's places here in America that have less.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you get into really rural communities, and like especially down south, you'll find little communities that just have a couple hundred people.
Okay. Or
100 people.
The good thing here is Austria is so small. Yeah, so even if you live on the countryside out of nowhere, it doesn't take you longer than 1 hour to go to Vienna or something. So you're always close to a city. So what?
Yeah, not here. I know there's places here that people have to drive like 6 or 7 hours to get to an actual city. There's lots of small towns around, but to get to a city, you'd have to drive 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah, I saw this when we drove through Nevada and Arizona, for example. That there is
exactly
so much nothing. It's crazy how big these states are.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of people that live in the United States don't even realize it because a lot of people have never left their state.
Okay.
Most people just live in that certain area, just like I'm sure in Austria, most people I'm sure don't ever leave Austria. They have no need to unless they want to go on a vacation.
Yeah, exactly. But people really love to travel here because the good thing living in Austria is you're in the middle, really, literally in the middle of Europe. Yeah. So we are. It takes me about 1 hour, and I'm in Hungary. It takes me about 1 hour, and I'm in Czech Republic. It takes me about 2.5 hours, and I'm in Italy. It takes me 3 hours, and I'm in Germany. It takes me 4 or 5 hours, and I'm in Switzerland. Man. So this is really great living in Austria. And this is why a lot of people love to travel here, even just for the weekend. Yeah. So let's go to Italy for the weekend. Yeah, it's just a 4 hours drive.
Wow, that would be awesome. But then again, like you said, when you cross the states, you saw all kinds of different things, and you barely caught a glimpse of what those states had to offer.
Yeah, sure. I would have to stay longer in every state to see what the states are offering. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, yeah, and that's why a lot of people don't leave their states or never do, because there's so much to do within their state that if they went on a vacation, a lot of times they go on a vacation within their state.
Yeah.
Because there's so much varied areas within the states. It's really interesting.
Yeah, the thing is, here in Europe, there's always two different things. Yeah, you're either in the mountains or you're at the sea. So you have a beach. Yeah, so we're a mountain state in the middle of Europe, so we don't have access to the sea. We don't have beaches here. We don't have access to the sea, and And this is I think why we love to go to Italy, because the only thing I see here every day is the mountains. Everybody visiting Austria is telling me how beautiful our mountains are, but they don't understand how difficult it is to live here. Meters of snow, icy roads half of the year, and
Half of
low,
the year. Huh?
low temperatures.
Oh yeah, well, but you got to think there's a lot of people here in the United States that deal with that as well.
Yeah,
especially,
sure.
Especially in like the Rocky Mountains and up in the Cascade Mountains.
Yeah.
It's or
Alaska.
Even Alaska, exactly. Alaska sure knows what that's about.
Yeah, but Alaska must be a cool place. I saw some documentaries on TV about Alaska. This must really be a cool place.
Yeah, I'd love to visit Alaska. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, I once checked how I could go there. It would be, I think, it would be quicker to go to Hawaii than to go to Alaska for us here. So I would have to change, I think, flights 2 or 3 times to go there. And
yeah, that's crazy. I wouldn't think it would be farther for you to go to Hawaii than it would be to Alaska, but
yeah, but Hawaii would have to change the plane just 1 time. So this would be easy to go there. And to Alaska, it really takes you like 1.5 days to travel there from Austria.
Yeah, and I would have thought it would have been different. I would have figured you'd have been closer to Alaska than Hawaii.
Transient Stacker says, don't say icy roads, winter is coming. Yeah, sorry for that. I already have winter tires on my car. I've been to Switzerland this week for a business trip. Last week for a business trip. And no, it was this week. We still have Sunday. And they already had 2 degrees in the morning. 2 degrees Celsius is, let me check what's that in Fahrenheit. So Google.
About 34, 35.
That's, yeah, exactly 35, yeah. So just for this business trip, usually in Austria, we change to winter tires end of October. But
well,
for Switzerland, I already changed my tires.
Well, get this. Last Monday, I woke up to an inch of snow on the ground.
Really? Wow, cool.
And the Friday before that, it was 76 degrees.
Okay.
So, yeah, our winter started kind of abruptly.
Yeah, on the way to Switzerland, you cross 2 or 3, how do you call it in English, glaciers?
Oh, glaciers. Nice.
Glaciers, yeah. So you can, even in summer, you can see snow there and snow and ice. So it's always great to go. I love this highway through the mountains, through the Alps. It's really beautiful to go to Switzerland from Austria. It's one of the most beautiful highways on this planet, in my opinion.
Yeah, that would be fun to drive across. I bet it is absolutely gorgeous. Hey, you need to just upload a video. Just put a camera on your dashboard next time you make that trip and upload it.
I have a lot of such videos on my channel.
Well, I'll have to go check some of them out then.
No, I mean I've a lot of also some shorts about sunsets in the Alps and so on. So, but the problem is, this time of the year it's always foggy and the weather is ugly. So it's not as romantic as it seems to be in the movies. No, but it's really I love the mountains.
Oh yeah, I fell in love with the beauty of that area as a very young child when I watched The Sound of Music.
The Sound of, yeah. I had a discussion with one of my friends with Cornwall UK in one of his last live streams because there was a guy from Canada and he asked me, "Oh, do you like the movie The Sound of Music?" And he was so disappointed when I told him I don't know one single Austrian who has ever seen this movie.
Ever seen it?
I don't know one single person who has seen this movie. My wife, after this live stream, my wife said, "Look, we need to watch this movie because it's a shame the whole world talks about it and we haven't seen it."
Well, what did you think? It's a pretty good movie, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't seen it yet.
You still haven't watched it?
No. I need to. Sorry. I confess.
It's a musical.
Yeah, no, I know, but I've never seen it.
Oh man, that's funny. You said you were going to see it, and then you still haven't.
Yeah, sorry for that. Transient Stacker just said it was -6 Celsius yesterday in New Mexico. Wow, then in New Mexico it's colder than it's here in Austria. Wow.
Yeah, it warmed up here today. It's not bad out. Let's see. I only have Fahrenheit temperature, so it's right at 50 degrees where I'm at.
50. That's Google. 50 Fahrenheit to Celsius. That's 10. Yeah, that's okay. That's almost summer here.
Yeah, it's nice out there right now.
Yeah, the problem we have here is, and this is why road maintenance costs a lot of money here in this area, is we have very, very low temperatures in winter, but we have also really high temperatures sometimes in summer, like 40 degrees Celsius. So yeah, our roads need to be maintained all the time because of these temperature changes from summer to winter.
Yeah. Well, and we get that same problem here a lot of times in certain areas, because especially in the deserts, because people don't realize, but those deserts get super cold.
Yeah.
It just doesn't have a lot of precipitation, but it gets really cold and it gets super hot in the summer.
Yeah. Now we have a lot of issues here. It's very similar problems.
Yeah, like where I'm at. Well, the ground moves a lot here, so that does a lot of damage. But also the temperature range, because of the elevation that we live at, the solar radiation, I'm sure you guys have to deal with that just as much or more. That solar radiation is intense. And people that live like down at ocean level, they don't realize how much more intense the sun is at a higher elevation.
Yeah, but the good thing is, for example, I bought this device you can use to measure the intensity of the sunlight, and because I want to install solar panels on my house, and I measured this, and it's much higher than at other places where friends of mine are living in Austria. So this is one of the good things. Yeah, if you want to install solar panels, it's perfect.
Yeah. They do a lot of solar here because of the intensity of the sun.
Yeah. It's interesting to see how different countries and states can be, but in the end, we're all dealing with the same issues.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we're on a similar latitude.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So that's what gives us so many similarities. We're in that temperate range. And yeah, similar plants, similar weather, depending on your elevation, all that.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but this is crazy. Yeah, my wife, for example, she comes from Vienna, from the big city, and they never had these issues we had. As I grew up on the countryside, where sometimes my parents couldn't bring me to school because there was too much snow, and this is something. I mean, then the teacher called us, telling us, "Look, these are the pages in the book you need to study today, and when you're back at school next time, we will discuss about it." And actually, this is like what the kids did during the COVID pandemic. Yeah,
right.
When they started to study at home and doing these online classes and so on. This is something we did in Austria the last 40 years already.
Well, and see, that's going to be really interesting to see how that progresses in the future, because they did do that for a couple of years. So now, is there ever going to be a snow day? Because that's what we used to have. If it iced up or snowed really heavy, the schools would just shut down, but they wouldn't call us and tell us what pages to study or anything like that. We just missed a day of school. But now,
which is much better for the kids, I guess.
well, we get an extra day off. Yeah, it was awesome.
That's cool.
But now that they've went to the remote learning for those last couple of years, is there ever going to be another snow day? Or will they just say, oh, well, we're shutting down the school tomorrow, so everybody's got to, do a remote class?
Yeah.
So who knows? I think that would be a good thing.
Yeah, I think this whole story changed also the way how we are working a lot. I mean, I see it in my company. So in the past, really, literally every week I had to jump into a plane, go to other countries for meetings, and now we just do it online, yeah. And so why does it work now, and why didn't it work in the past? So simply, I think because people were not used to sit in front of the computer talking to each other, and especially here in Europe, this was not part of our culture because people were used to go to the office, but now more and more people are working from home because, I mean,
Well, yeah.
in the US, I know a lot of people who work remote, but here in Europe, this was unknown, yeah.
Yeah, well, now think about it, how corporations are going to be looking at it. They're going to be like, okay, why do we need to rent this large office space when everybody can do the same job at home?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it has advantages and disadvantages. I mean, for me, I can sleep longer because I mean, I just need to get up and
you don't have to commute.
Put a t-shirt on and I'm already in my office. But on the other side, I mean, usually you do more hours than you did in the past when you were in the office. So it's always advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah.
But that's fine. I mean, nowadays you need to be happy if you have a good job. So,
well, that's, and I felt the same way, like going to school. And I'm sure you guys have it as well, but here they give us homework.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like, wait a minute, I spent 8 hours with you and you're giving me homework? It's like, no, if you can't teach me what I need to learn in class, then you're not doing your job. So teachers hated me because I could ace pretty much every test they put in front of me. Yet I barely was passing in my grades because I didn't do any homework.
Okay.
I refused to do any homework. I'm like, no, that's my time. They had me for 8 hours. The rest of the time is my time. I'm not going to do work for them while I'm on my time.
Yeah, the problem is I try to do the same, but my teacher always he always gave us a piece of paper describing what our homework was, and my mother always controlled it every day. So because she was at home, she didn't work at that time, and so I had no chance. She always checked it, and I always had to do it. So
yeah, I just didn't let them know.
Yeah, she knew that there was a piece of paper every day, and our teacher was smart. Yeah, he even gave us a piece of paper telling there is no homework today when there was none. So she always knew exactly what I had to do for the next day.
I don't know. My mom was cool. I think she knew that I didn't need to do the homework because I was smart enough not to.
Okay.
And so I think she just didn't really care. She was like, whatever.
No,
yeah, I had a stay-at-home mom pretty much my whole life as well. But yeah, me with homework, it just didn't work out. Unless it was something that I wanted to do, that I was interested in, Yeah. Some project, something that would pique my interest, because I learned more outside of school than I did in school. Because I was just like, especially about nature and whatnot. I always, if I wasn't in school, basically, if the weather was nice, I was out hiking through the woods or fishing or something.
Transient Stacker just said they need remote control trucks so I can work at home. I can work from home. Yeah, I mean, this is called drones, right?
We're not far from that. I mean, that could be done in a matter of months. Tesla has their trucks or whatnot, and you've got all this auto lane detection and these self-driving cars. It'd be a lot easier just to set up the sensors and cameras and have it run as a remote control.
Yeah, but what I don't like with this, to be honest, is we have another big opportunity. So we have Industrial Revolution number, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 now, and again they are not using it to make the life of the people better, because in the end just the companies will benefit, because they again can reduce the staff number and can
of course
they need less people. So what I'm always saying is whenever they make such inventions, they need to make sure that the companies have to pay taxes for it. Because more and more people simply in the future, I'm pretty sure a lot of jobs will simply disappear. Exactly.
There definitely needs to be more corporate tax, especially when they are eliminating workers.
Yeah, exactly.
As that workforce goes down, their tax rate should go up.
Yeah. And this is what I think what's very important, because I mean, you cannot just say, okay, your job is gone, and then what to do with the people then in the future. This is my opinion. In the future, there will not be enough jobs anymore for all of us. So even if you want, there will not be enough jobs.
That's not. I know you don't want to get into politics, but that's basically these major governments trying to institute more or less communism and socialism, because you don't have any jobs. You are 100% reliant on the government to keep you alive, because you can't pay for it because you've got no income.
Yeah, this is why there are, to prevent this from happening, there are discussions going on now, for example, in Austria, where they say that some of our political parties already say they want to have it in the constitution, that you have the right to get, I don't know, a certain amount from your government every month, that you don't have to request it, and it's not something that's
right. They're trying to give a check. Right. They're basically trying to give a check for like cost of living or whatnot.
No, actually, it's like that this is a right you have. Yeah. So there are no conditions at all. So if you're not able to work, you get X amount of money, and there are no conditions, and so that the government has no chance to put this to force you to do something for it, or put it on a social rating or whatever, or connect it to a social rating or whatever.
Yeah,
so that they want to put in the constitution that you have the right to get it, so then there is no discussion about, and you cannot use it, I don't know, to build up a dictatorship or something.
Well, yeah, they've been talking about doing that here as well. And there are a couple of states, or at least cities, that have already instituted it. I know there's a city in California that did that, to where everybody automatically is getting, like $1,000 or something every month, or $5,000 or something every month. They just automatically get it. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if there's any wording in their rules or laws that they passed to, like you said, to make it to where it's like a right, like they, this is something like that they need, a God-given right, like our freedom of speech, or different things like that.
Yeah, exactly. So that it's not related to any conditions or something. Yeah, so that they cannot use it against you. Yeah, this is, I think, what's very important.
Right, and the places that have instituted what you're talking about here, because like I said, there is at least one city I know of that did that. I don't know if how they've got it worded, and if they've got it worded to the point to where it's, like unquestionable.
Yeah.
And, like you said, like they can't, because that's, kind of what I would see would happen is they would say, okay, well, here's your $5,000 check, but you have to now go and do this. And if you don't do that, you don't get your check.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they could say, okay, well, we need more sanitation workers, so now you're a garbage man. It's like, you know, the person can be like, well, I'm a mortgage broker. And they're like, no, now you're a garbage man.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there are so many changes ahead, and it will be very interesting how all the countries will deal with this. And where I see the big risk is that, and I mean, I'm pretty sure, yeah, that in countries like China and Russia, their leaders, they're just sitting in their palaces, and they're laughing about the stupidity of the Western Hemisphere, because they simply do not care about all these topics, and they do not understand how to say our values and what freedom means to us, and that thousands and thousands of people died for the freedom we have now, and this is why we should never give it away.
Oh yeah,
And,
no, I agree, but I think it goes beyond that. You know, I think it's I don't, even China and Russia, I don't believe that they are fully in control of themselves. I think there are people above them that are still using them as pawns.
yeah, I mean, that's a major problem. So I mean, I really try to understand Russia, yeah, but I'm not 100% sure if I understand what's going on in this country, because there are so many stakeholders, and there is some people with so much money controlling everything, and I think even Putin is not the one who's leading the country. There
Right.
are a lot of billionaires
Yep.
telling him what he has to do, and
Oh, I agree 100%. And, you know, but I don't think any leader is truly fully a leader of their own, nation and their own autonomy and everything that they do. I think everybody is controlled to an extent when they're in politics like that.
yeah.
And
So sorry,
one of
I
the few
just
that
yeah.
one of the few that might not be controlled is that North Korean leader Kim Jong-un. I think he's one of the few that's actually the wild card in the bunch.
Yeah, this might be true. Yeah, I just need to react uh, on one of the comments here, because I wrote in the chat, because Transient Stacker said maybe in the future our jobs will be in entertainment. Robots could do the physical labor, and I said yeah, would be great if this would mean good living standard for all. And then Welchko Services said that's the definition of communism. No, that's not the definition of communism. This is something, I explained this in several videos, where there is a massive misunderstanding between communism and socialism, and what we call social democratic politics. Austria, for example, is our history is in our history, social democratic politics have played a very important role, and this is not communism. You still have to work, you still have all the chances, so if you mess up, yeah, you will still not be rich, and it's not that everybody has exactly the same, no matter if you're working or not working, or what job you're doing or whatever. So this is not communism. But what I think what's needed in the future is to make sure that all this how to say industrial improvements like automatization and robots and so on, that this is not used simply to make sure that the rich are getting even more rich, yeah, because the companies make more money, and the shareholders make more money, and so on. So what I'm talking about is, I think you need to make sure that a part of this money is used to, how to say, to care about those people who simply do not have a chance to work anymore, because you cannot just let all of them die just because there is not enough work anymore. And you can also not say, okay, those people who are not lucky enough to find a job, then it would just be luck if you get a job or not. Yeah, you cannot just say, okay, go and live under a bridge. So I think what I'm talking about is you need to make sure that nobody's left behind. Yeah, and this is not communism to me.
And see, I'm one of the few that will pretty much always have work, because I grew up being a carpenter.
Yeah, sure.
I'll never not have work. If I want it, I've got work. I just have to go out and look for it and find it. But it's always going to be there. Everybody needs a carpenter.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's like when they shut everything down for the COVID. My job's never stopped. I continued working because technically we were considered essential.
Yeah, sure.
Because you've got to have a place to live, and you've got to, if your plumbing breaks, you've got to have somebody that can fix it. Or your electrical or something. Those services were essential. So yeah, we never stopped working.
Transient Stacker says there are only 3 ways to get someone to work voluntary: through trade or through slavery. Yeah, absolutely. But what I'm talking about is what you take as given is that there is enough work. But the thing I see is in the future there will not be enough work anymore. That's my point of view. Because
if they automate everything, it cancels out the jobs. Then what do people rely on? The government.
Exactly, and this is what I'm talking about, and this is why I mean times are changing, yeah, and we never had a situation where we were so where we're at actually. I mean, I'm in health and safety management, so I saw factories where literally they produce like I don't know, 10,000 whatever a day, and there were just two people working there in a whole factory. And this is the future, yeah. So in the past there were, I don't know, 300, 400 people working. Now there are just 2 or 3 people working. So if this continues with all the production companies, then you have thousands of people, thousands of jobs less, yeah. And for me, caring about these people, yeah, and making sure that they they have something to eat and they have a roof above their head. This is not communism for me. So. And I mean, if you simply do not have the chance, if you simply do not have enough job for the people, then you need to find ways, how to care for these people and
like we were saying earlier, that's where the less employees a corporation has, they should have to pay taxes.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, this is what some people call communism, and this is not communism in my humble opinion.
But I don't like the idea of taxes anyways. Because you think, our roads are really bad now. 100 years ago, they were actually in pretty decent shape because people weren't relying on the government to fix it, whether that be city, state, or local. If there was a pothole in front of their house, they fixed it.
Yeah.
Because they weren't being taxed so much and they could afford to fix it. And so they did their own type of maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
But once the states and everything took control of that and started taxing everybody for it, well, now look at the condition of the roads. They're crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I think a lot of that also has to do with, people doing, like here we get stuff like no bid contracts. Like certain contractors are just given this amount of money to fix this section of road.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, okay, well, you just give them that much was there somebody that would have done it cheaper and better? Or are you just giving it to somebody that that's going to be giving you kickbacks on the other side? And they're still getting away with it. It's not regulated here. It's supposed to be regulated, but it's not.
Yeah, I think in the past, in general, there was much more responsibility with the local communities and the, I don't know how you call it in the US, but we have kind of local district authorities and government. Let's say district governments or something. And in the past, they had much more power, but they also had more responsibilities. Exactly, roads, for example. So all the roads, the district authorities had to care about maintenance and so on. But therefore, they also got more taxes, yeah, and so a bigger part of the taxes was transferred to the local communities instead of to the government. And I think, yeah, this was like it was in the past here, and it was better.
I think the closest we would have to that, in a way, other than by cities, would be like a homeowners association. So like you'd have, let's say, a community that's got 30 or 40 houses in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like a homeowners association, which tells you have to have, they'll fine you if your lawn gets too tall.
Okay.
If you want to build something on your property, you have to okay it with them. Or if you want to paint your house a certain color, you have to have it okayed. And a lot of times there's a fee, an annual fee that you have to pay to be part of that homeowners association. And they do that kind of stuff. They take up the maintenance of the irrigation and all that.
Okay.
So I think that would be about the closest equivalent we would have would be a homeowners association, without it, being at like a city level.
Yeah, we have such. It's not really association. We call it actually something like the county government or something. Yeah, so they can make.
Okay, so that would be more like the city level for us then.
Yeah, exactly.
Or town,
yeah.
or a town. Yeah.
So actually, some things are decided on this level, like for example, how houses need to be built and all the community topics and so on.
Okay, yeah, so like zoning and permitting and all that. Yeah, that would be at our town and city levels.
Yeah, exactly. And in the past also they were responsible for maintenance of country roads and so on, and it was much better then, yeah, because they knew how to set priorities and what's most important for the local community. And for example, after the federal government took over, they decided that, for example, railway is much more important than roads, and which is completely stupid, because on the countryside, when you are, I don't know, like 2 hours away from every
railroad,
from every railroad or from every train station, yeah, I mean, it doesn't make any sense. You will not benefit from good railroads, yeah,
right.
And this is actually a situation for, I think, 70 or 80% of the people living on the countryside. So they make decisions where they assumed this would be the right decisions, but it turned out that it was the wrong decision. In the past, the focus of, or the priority for the local communities was always roads, yeah.
Yeah,
and the government, yeah, exactly. This is wrong decisions made, yeah.
Yeah, it's similar here. It's all politics.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's pretty much the same around the world at this point in time. Some people have it worse off, but for the most part, it's all the same. It's people get into power to make themselves wealthy. They don't do it for the people.
Yeah, I agree 100%. But this is exactly, I think this is a very important thing, because I'm always saying this. Yeah, there are a lot of things where a lot of people see conspiracies behind, But behind these things, to be honest, I don't see conspiracies. I just see the wrong people into power. Because if you put the wrong people there, then of course they do it for their own benefit.
Well,
And
it's funny what we're talking about right now, because History Man just showed up in chat, and his name perfectly fits this, because history repeats itself, and if we look back at history, we see it over and over, and we're just living through it again.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, one thing history has proven is we will never learn from our history. So we can be 100% sure we do exactly all the same mistakes we did the last 2 times when this happened. And so this is one of the good things with human beings and our history. We know exactly where it will end, and we know that it will not be a good thing. So it's very predictable.
Well, yeah, but people who don't know history is doomed to repeat itself.
Yeah, absolutely. You know? But even if we know it, yeah, I mean, still history repeats all the time, and this is, yeah, what scares me a bit. If I have a look what's going on in Ukraine and what the Russians are doing and what China is doing, and that I don't know, countries like India are building a lot of aircraft carriers and so on.
That's why I just recently bought 6 bottles of potassium iodide.
Yeah.
Because that's the medication. That's the one thing that you can take to battle radiation sickness.
Yeah, it's okay. But what I would really like to know, yeah, and one important point Welsh could just said is all 675 former fiat currencies went to zero value. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I just talked about my grandmother before, and I said, yeah, my grandmother saw 4 currencies here in Austria, and all of them died. And that's actually, there is a good book. I really like it. I read it recently. It's called, I don't know if this is available in the US. It's called When Money Dies. And what they took is, as an example to explain how currency dies, they took the Weimar hyperinflation, the Weimar Republic, to explain how hyperinflation mechanisms work. And they compare it to what's going on nowadays. So they compare 1923 to what's going on nowadays. And actually, you can really see step by step everything that happened in the 20s, in the 1920s, is happening now again. And they're doing exactly the same mistakes like in the 1920s.
We can get the book here.
Pardon?
We can get the book here.
No?
Yes, we can.
Ah, you can. Okay, good. It's really a good book. It's very interesting. I really like it.
But that's crazy. Your grandma went through 4 currencies that died?
I think it was 4, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because first we had crowns, then it was first time shillings, then it was the Reichsmark, and then there was even one more. There was this kind of military currency in the zone where she was living in, and then there was the shilling we had until the euro came. No, even one more, because my grandmother also was still alive when we got the euro.
Wow, so 5. She saw 5 different currencies.
Crazy, isn't it?
Wow.
And the funny thing is, the only thing that always had a value was the silver coins. And this is why actually my grandmother got me into stacking, because when I was a kid, so at special occasions, I always got some silver shilling coins, or I got when I had, I don't know, when I got 20 or when I graduated or something, I got a gold ducat from her. And so actually she yeah.
Wow.
That was the start of my stacker career.
And see, I just recently started stacking, just within the last let's say 4 years, 5 years. And before that, I was somewhat of a coin collector, but never really spent any money on it. Just when I found something, I'd keep it.
Mm-hmm.
And it all started with finding a Indian head penny when I was about 10 or 11 years old. And I found that penny that was, 90 years old or so, and it kind of got me looking for coins, looking for basically wheatbacks is what I started with, and Indian head pennies. But like I said, recently I started finding the coin community and started getting into stacking silver and really, understanding the importance of having it like your grandma did, because that is always going to be currency.
Yeah, exactly. This is what my grandmother told me. She said, it doesn't matter what in what currency the face value is of a coin. But she said when after the Second World War, when you went, for example, to a farmer, and she lived on the countryside, when she went to a farmer, they immediately said, "No, sorry, we don't have anything left." And when you said, "No, I will not come with," they had these coupons where you could where everything was how do you call it?
Rations.
Rations, where you could just get a certain amount, with a coupon. And when she said, "Look, I have some coins," suddenly she got something.
Right.
Because they knew that these coupons, they didn't have any value, because the farmers went with these coupons to the government and they paid them with the money that wasn't worth anything the next day, because the hyperinflation was still going on. And so if you gave them some silver coins, they gave you something. You got a bread and some ham or whatever, and some meat and vegetables. Yeah. And so she said what they did is actually they took all the silver coins that were left from the collection of her parents and her grandparents.
Wow. This is such a shame. I wish I could see those coins.
Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, this is how they survived. And she said they didn't care about even there were coins from other countries, from Czech Republic or something. And she said they did not care. They didn't care. Just it was silver, and they sold you something for silver, but they did not sell you something for money, because nobody wanted to have this money.
But see, and here that's why here our constitutional silver winds up being a little bit more expensive, I believe, because where you're at with those smaller countries, basically being like state size in comparison, you're used to seeing all these other countries' currencies, and that they're the silver stuff. Whereas here, most people will only recognize American silver.
Yeah, I think it's true. Yeah.
If they can't if they don't have the stuff to test it or whatnot, they don't understand how much silver content is there as well, because there's so many European coins that are 50% or 60% or 70 or 82 or, all these different percentages. Whereas American silver is always 90%, unless it's like American Silver Eagles, of course. But all of our constitutional silver is 90%, except for that short period of time from 64 to 70 where we had some 40%ers.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else that was silver was 90%. And people can recognize and understand that silver because, I mean, let's face it, a lot of Americans they're not dumb, but they're ignorant of a lot of things. So, if they don't know that it's silver and can't easily recognize it, they're not going to be interested in it. So if I have, silver coins that are the size of a dime, even though they might be the same weight and the same value as a dime, they're not going to recognize it because it's foreign.
Yeah, but I think it's not just in the US. I know people here in Austria who have never left the valley where they were born, especially in some regions like Tyrol or the people really living in the mountains. There are a lot of old people. They have never left the valley where they were born, and so if I think for them, little small Austria is the center of the world. Yeah, so they think the whole world is revolving around this small valley. Yeah, and so I think this is the same everywhere. Yeah, that
Yes.
There are people who have never seen anything else. Yeah.
We have the exact same thing here, especially down in the deep South in the United States, that there are plenty of people that have never left the town that they were born in.
Yeah.
You know, at least, let's say within 30 miles or so of the town that they were born in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But coming back to the other topic we discussed before, I asked for it several times, but I usually don't get a clear answer on that. There is a lot of times, yeah, when we Europeans have discussions with people from the US, we are called communists. Yeah? I myself, I got called communist so many times when I talked about social insurance and how to make sure that this automatization that's going on now doesn't end in millions of unemployed people, homeless people, and so on. So I'm usually get called communist when I'm talking about this, but I'm everything else than a communist. Yeah? I'm so far away from any communist ideology. But what exactly does a person from the US? How does a person from the US define communism?
Well, communism to me would be, you know, and I don't know the dictionary definition of it, but that's basically where everything is state-run and controlled, just like in China. And
okay, then I agree with that. No issue with this. Yeah, okay.
But I understand that there's a difference between socialism and supposed democratic socialism and full-blown communism. But as a general rule throughout history, socialism and even democratic socialism usually always devolves into communism. But unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave because my cousin just showed up.
That was really great talking to you. Thank you very much. It was a good discussion. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been great. I'll show up again.
Yeah, it would be great. Thank you very much. I think I will also end this live stream somewhere because my wife already sent me 2 text messages. Dinner is ready.
All right.
Thank you very much.
You later.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Robert. So let's check the chat. Sorry, I didn't check the chat too much the last minutes. As an American, I agree with that. People get foreign coins, but they can't point a country in a map. Historical nation. I don't leave the town that half my family is raised in, but I got to move somewhere. I like to have a silver frying pan. Wow, yeah, silver is very good because it's how do you say this in English? It transports heat very well. Both right and left doesn't know anything about communism and fascism. Yeah, Esther, man. I mean, I can just agree. This is why I was asking this question because I was called a communist several times, but you can be 100% sure if there is one thing I'm not, it's a communist. So, but some people have their own definition of what communism is, and obviously it's another definition than I have, because caring about others is not communism to me. And I agree absolutely that you need to make sure that this cannot be used to make slaves out of people. Yeah. So this should never be connected to any conditions or something. So this is something you should have a right to get this, and and also the people. The government should be afraid of the people and not vice versa. Yeah, so the people are the one who are electing the governments, and I think the people should also have the power to get rid of the governments. So I'm not a communist at all. I just wanted to know what the definition is, what you guys understand when we talk about communism. No, it's absolutely fine, history man. I mean, if somebody, I just want to know what people because usually it's misunderstandings, yeah. Because for some people, this is something they cannot agree with, yeah. That you pay for other people, yeah. This is something other people already consider communism, yeah. So we have this kind of sharing here. So I pay my, for example, my social insurance, but this goes into a fund, and with this also the medical treatments of other people is paid. So some people already consider this as communism. This is not communism to me. Yeah, chef, I would appreciate. So definitely there will be another stream. That the problem is I can just never tell when I have time to go live, because I usually never know when I will be at home. But for sure, I will do another live stream. It was great that so many people were here. Thank you very much. Also, thank you very much for all the good comments. What I always like is if people share their opinion, if there are different opinions, because this is how we can learn from each other. As I said in my rules, I have in the comment sections, respect other people's opinions. And this is what I saw today. So a lot of different opinions, but very respectful discussions. So I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much. And I will end the live stream now, because otherwise my wife will be angry with me, because she told me that dinner is already ready. I think this was 20 minutes ago. So thank you all for joining my live stream today, and see you next time. And chef, anyway, we are connected on Instagram, so I will shoot you a message when I go live next time. It would be great to have you on the panel. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great week ahead, and stay safe and healthy, and talk to you soon. Bye.